Huh? Oh wait. Hello to all. How are you all doing? I'm AJ the One here. How are you doing? I'm doing fine myself. Today, I will be doing What if Tanjiro was in Seven Deadly Sins? Now, the reason for this is the fact that I finished Demon Slayer the manga around 5 to 6 months ago, last year, pretty much. No, it's been a while since I read it, actually. Either way, besides my shitty sense of time, I really did like Demon Slayer. I found it very short. I found it very short though, but for a very small period of time, Demon Slayer was my all-time favorite anime, only for a small period of time. And even then, Demon Slayer is no longer my favorite anime, but still is very high up there. So I decided, hey, why not mix it in with the other anime I like that I haven't also watched in a little while, I may add. So if I get some things wrong, don't come after me. But basically, how this would work is the fact that Tanjiro's Hinokami Kagura and his water breathing will all, or his sun breathing, better to say, will all be sort of in conjunction into his magic. So like how magic usually works in the Seven Deadly Sins universe, on how they usually say the name and they do the ability, and for the viewers, the kanji for the abilities appear on screen. It'll be the same thing for Tanjiro, just the fact that his sort of breathing technique makes the ability stronger, similar to like how people actually use total concentration breathing in real life, which is a real thing. Athletes usually use it as well. It's total concentration breathing. They breathe some type of way, it makes them stronger. Tanjiro breathed a certain type of way with mana infused into his breath to make his ability stronger, without spending too much mana, since the mana that he would use to increase his breath flows through his body. So basically, it's just an easier way for him to use stronger attacks but less mana. That's about it. But for all these parts may be some like weeks apart, because I also need to rewatch Seven Deadly Sins, because I do not remember everything. Like I said, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I do remember a majority of things. So, establishing Tanjiro's magic, we might as well get into this part. Also, the ship is going to be Gila. Why Gila? Well, that's my first immediate thought, that's my first one. Tanjiro is 16 years old. I searched up Gila's age. 16 years old. Yeah, it's a possibility I could just age up Tanjiro, but on the type of person that Tanjiro is, I feel like he would be the type of person is when he comes of age, he would be able to join the Holy Knights. That's the type of person I feel like Tanjiro is, and I would say that the age required is 18. Only reason why Gila is here is because made up headcanon purposes. That's why. Headcanon purposes. Or better to say plot purposes. I am going to get into more detail later, possibly, but for right now, just accept the fact that she's 16 years old, or at this case 15 years old, and with the Holy Knights. But anyway, to finally actually get into the what if, we would start off in the middle of a forest around 1 year before the original story actually starts. We would see a very tall man in red and whitish armor, with a long broad sword by his side, with very short dark black hair, and a very thick mustache and beard. His name would be, aren't they like captains? Captain Pixis, because I've been watching Attack on Titan. Yeah, Pixis. His name would be Captain Pixis, as he would only have 3 other people on his squad. He would have 2 other random Holy Knights and Gila. The reason they would be there is they would be traversing back from an area where the mission took place, where they had to basically just wipe out an entire area full of monsters. Monsters? also been watching. I've been watching a lot of stuff recently. If you couldn't tell from my very bad accent, I've also been rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh! Cause who the fuck remembers how to play that game? Thousands of people, but I'm one of the people who don't remember. But back to the story. But basically, they're going back to the capital, but not only the fact that A, it's very cold because it is snowing and it's around December. B, they don't have a lot of food, and C, they're also all very weak from their scuffle. So because of this, the group is sort of winded right now. One would also wear like basic holy knight armor that we see that follow Elizabeth into the bar. Yeah, I'm about to get a lot of hate for not remember what that bar is called. The boar hat, right? For going into the boar hat. They would be wearing that outfit. One of them would have a spear, one of them would have a basic sword. Agila would, of course, have her fencing. What is that? A rapier. And, of course, like I said, the man with black hair and beard would have a broadsword. As they would be traversing through the snowy woods, they would end up running into these monsters that sort of look like big, bright blue Komodo dragons with red eyes. They would be giant size compared to Komodo dragons. They would be around 8 feet long and on all fours. And of course, like I said, just Komodo dragons, but light blue. They would be caught off guard by these monsters as one of the as the holy knight with the sword, or the holy knight with the normal sword would end up getting injured, falling back as everyone would be holding them off. The holy knights and these giant lizards would be fighting for a few minutes now. After this, Gila and the captain would be easily dispatching these monsters, but there would just be so many that they would mostly be getting pushed back, as they all would be in a group right now. But one of the monsters will end up jumping into the air and diving down in the middle of all of them. And they will all end up jumping out of the way to not get hit, as they would get separated. As Gila would be by herself, only a couple feet away from her captain and the others, but still far away enough for these monsters to overwhelm her. As the same goes for all the others. As Gila's fighting off these monsters, she would end up getting jumped from behind, as a monster would end up pouncing behind her, opening up its mouth, ready to launch its claws down onto her. When suddenly a figure would jump out of the woods, lift his sword in the air, and slice down. I don't know. Would he still call it water? It's tanjiro. Would he still call it water breathing? I'm assuming water breathing. Third form, water wheel. As Tanjiro would shout out as he would spin in a circle, cutting off the lizard's head. And he would end up landing on his feet behind Gila. After this point, Tanjiro would quickly look behind his head. Water breathing. Fourth form, striking tide. Bro, calm down if I get these forms fucked up. No, he wouldn't even call them forms, because he would just say water breathing, striking tide. Yeah, so nope, boom, fixed it. Thank God. Water breathing, striking tide, Tanjiro would say as he would end up rushing past Gila onto another monster and slicing off his arm, and then quickly moving down to cut off its head. Gila would quickly thank Tanjiro and proceed to use one strong explosion to dispatch two other monsters that were separating her and from her captain. After this point, Gila will quickly run over to her captain, and Tanjiro would of course follow. As the three of them would end up quickly dispatching all the monsters, and after some time, they will also end up saving the two other random holy knights, who only barely survived. as one would end up losing their arm in the scuffle. Pixis, usually being like the dickish holy knight he is, he would just tell the guy to wrap up his wounds, rub some dirt on it, and get up and keep moving. But after this point, Gila wound up protesting, saying that they're all weak and tired and hungry, and they have truly nowhere to go. And Pixis would quickly turn around, yelling at Gila, questioning her if she is questioning his authority. Gila would sort of be quiet and hold her head down, realizing that she lost, as she can't change her captain's mind. Tanjiro, looking over, realizing this, he would quickly butt in. If you all want, you could all live with me for a little while. I see that you're all holy knights and you're all sort of struggling. There'd be no problem. I have no problem housing some of you. I have enough food and water to last you about a year if you need. After this point, the Pixis would look over and stand up firmly and walk over to the boy. He would say he would put out his armored hand. I am Captain Pixis. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would. I am Captain Pixis of the Holy Knights. I'd like to thank you for saving my I guess you would call them troops. I thank you for saving my troops. And do you really mean what you say, that you can house us for that long? As Tanjiro would shake his head. Pixis would look back at Gila and the two other holy knights, as he would tell them that they are going to live with Tanjiro for at least as long as possible, until all their wounds are fully healed. As everyone would sort of be happy, or the three would sort of be happy about this, as Gila and the two other holy knights would all pick up their weapons and walk to Tanjiro's house. It would be only around an hour walk until they would finally get there. And after this point, Tanjiro would quickly make some medicine for the man, give him it, and wrap up his arm properly. After that point, he will quickly make some food and feed everyone. His house would also be the same house that he would have in Canaan, sort of a Japanese style house. After this point, Pixis and Tanjiro and basically they will all just be talking amongst themselves. And while this is happening, the holy knight with the spear would also sort of like scoot over to Tanjiro and put out his hand. This will be the holy knight with the spear. He would say, "Thank you for helping us out. My name is Alex." Tanjiro would also shake his hand and say, "Nice to meet you, Alex. My name is Tanjiro Kamado," which he would also say to everybody else. He would also introduce themselves. Gila and Tanjiro would, of course, introduce themselves. And the other holy knight without an arm, his name would also be Kyle. Fuck it, Kyle. No. I guess Alexander. That would be a better name. Alexander. Boom. We have Alexander, Gila, Pixis. But anyway, as they will all be talking amongst themselves, Pixis will end up bringing up the fact that there were like 9 or 7 graves outside. Tanjiro would sort of look down and look grim at this, as Pixis was sort of getting worried. Like, did you kill those people, Tanjiro Kamado? As Tanjiro will quickly look up, shaking his head back and forth, denying the fact that he did not kill them, but confirming that was his family, his little brother, it was his little brothers, his little sisters, his mother and father. Well, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, only like 6 graves. Huh. No. It would be 7. Because they did have like a baby. So, 7. That it was all of his little brothers and sisters and his mom and his father and mother. As they were all look back at Tanjiro, shocked as they would actually end up realizing the scar on top of Tanjiro's head. Them seeing this, as they would also be shocked, Alexander would quickly ask Tanjiro what happened. As Tanjiro would sort of look down and basically explain to them that one night, it was just a random night. They were all eating and they were about to go to sleep until suddenly their house was broken into. Until suddenly the house was broken into and a bunch of dark ore flooded the room. The last thing that he remembers is white spiky hair and very bright blue eyes. After that point, it all went fuzzy and black, and when he woke up, everyone around him was dead. After Tanjiro explained this, the Holy Knights will sort of be in silence, Gila feeling bad for Tanjiro, just like the other knights, but Pixis finding Tanjiro to be strong. As Pixis would sort of, I guess, praise Tanjiro for, even though his family is still dead, he still strives to be strong to help others. As Pixis would say that he admires that about Tanjiro. Tanjiro would attempt to deny the fact, but he would just decide to say thank you and move on. But after this point, we would have around a 1 year time. Like I said, it's snowing and it's around December. I would say like it would be like around 2 months before the start of the actual story. Everyone has grown to like Tanjiro, and they will all be in his favor. Tanjiro would sort of have feelings for Gila. They would be like, if someone were to ask Tanjiro, he wouldn't deny it. Sort of. He would still be like a normal protagonist and still, quote unquote, deny it, but it would be there. And Gila being Gila, I don't think she would truly feel anything right now. But anyway. I'm gonna say 5 months before the original story. But anyway, the months would go by as before 5 months of the actual story, they will all leave as Pixis. But before they all left, Pixis would actually end up turning around and sort of standing firmly in front of Tanjiro. He would ask Tanjiro for him to join the Holy Knights. Tanjiro would look up and sort of look confused, saying that doesn't he have to be the age of 18? Pixis would confirm this, but saying that there would truly be no problem with him joining now. As Gila over here is also 16 years old herself, which Tanjiro would know. As Pixis would simply just ask Tanjiro, and Tanjiro would end up declining. Pixis really not liking Tanjiro declining, he would proceed to ask Tanjiro again more firmly, and Tanjiro would again deny. After this point, Pixis does like Tanjiro, but he also still does like things going his way. So he would just strike Tanjiro a deal. Gila and Tanjiro were to fight, no magic, and if Gila wins, then Tanjiro joins. If Gila loses, then they would just simply leave off. Tanjiro would end up agreeing to this and would end up walking back inside of his house, as he would end up grabbing his katana and walking back out. Pixis would end up walking over to Gila, grabbing her by her shoulder and leaning down to get to her ear level. as he would whisper in her ear that this is a mission and failure is not an option. Gila would shake her head as she would pull out her rapier and walk forward. Or no, she would walk forward, pull out her rapier, and get in her stance. And Tanjiro would do the same. And well, basically, this entire fight is almost a complete domination on Tanjiro's side. He would be completely dominating Gila. Anytime she would try to strike, Tanjiro would parry easily. And whenever Tanjiro would strike, she would end up blocking, but she would end up getting sent very far back. And honestly, throughout this entire fight, Tanjiro was just using total concentration breathing. But also, even without it, he would still be dominating her. Not like that. But throughout the entire fight, Tanjiro would just swing down once, knocking Gila back on the ground, and Tanjiro would put a blade up to her throat, as she would end up conceding. Pixis would sort of stand firm, angry, but holding down his anger because he doesn't want to show it to Tanjiro, making Tanjiro want to join Holy Knights even less. But Pixis would end up putting on a fake smile, saying that it's okay, and hopefully one day he joins. As he would end up picking up, as Gila would end up, Tanjiro will put out a hand to help Gila as Tanjiro would help her up as Gila and the group would walk off. Pixis would probably punish her by not giving her food for a few days. And probably also saying that he was going to quote unquote train her. In other words, just basically abuse her. Calling it training. But to move on back to Tanjiro. Tanjiro would know that the Holy Knights are very corrupted. So because of this, he did decline Pixis because of this fact. So Tanjiro would end up just deciding to look basic. He would basically not be looking for the 7 deadly sins, but he would want to create a rebellion group of his own to fight against the Holy Knights. So his first initial thought is the people who rebelled against them on the longest time ago, the 7 deadly sins. This is when he would end up running into Elizabeth in her armor. Elizabeth would end up revealing herself. Elizabeth is also 16 years old, so Tanjiro would also be infatuated, but we all know how that goes. She's 16, and Tanjiro's also 16, but Meliodas is 1,000 plus. That's Elizabeth's type, 1,000 plus. That also looks like children, but whatever. Anyway, Tanjiro would proceed to help out Elizabeth to find the 7 deadly sins. They would end up meeting Meliodas at the Boar Hat, and all would go the same. But basically, before was Pixis? Pixis had brown hair. Yeah, the Pixis that Tanjiro met had brown hair. Like I said, it's been 5 months. I'm pretty sure that the night that Meliodas full countered for the first time, I'm pretty sure his name was Pixis, wasn't it? I think it was Pixis. And if it wasn't, then it is now. And it's the same Pixis that Tanjiro met. Tanjiro would end up trying to fight Pixis, but, we saw this nigga take out an entire freaking tree line and a mountain as a basic Holy Knight. I don't think Tanjiro would be on that level yet. He will get on that level in the series. I would say around at the end of the series, I would say Tanjiro would be around. No, I'm not even gonna spoil it. As far as I know, I might as well I could technically just make Tanjiro Demon King level at the end of the series, but I'm not gonna do that. That would be ridiculous. Tanjiro would actually put up a very good fight against Pixis, but would still end up losing. But at this point, Tanjiro would end up Meliodas would still end up doing the same thing. His arm would still get revealed, and he would still end up using full counter, killing. I'm pretty sure he killed Pixis. And after this point, it would just be a bunch of dialogue between them. Tanjiro sort of reacting like Elizabeth whenever Meliodas said that he either A, stole panties, or B, groped a bunch of women in his that's why he got kicked out. But after this point, I'm pretty sure the next person they found is Deanne. But yeah, they would just be walking. Yeah. So I don't know if I could just quickly go over that arc too. So yeah, they would still end up walking to the same tower where Gil Thunder stabbed his sword into the ground. Actually, there'd actually be a change in timeline. I would say that Tanjiro would see these people trying so hard, and would also see the Holy Knights laughing. Tanjiro will quickly walk up to one of the Holy Knights, kicking one in the back of their heads, knocking them to the ground. As the other one, Tanjiro would just punch across the face. Tanjiro would look at them and yell and scream out, "You see these people trying as hard as they can to liberate themselves, and all you can do is laugh. You're supposed to be Holy Knights who are supposed to be protecting these people, and yet you're starving them. You're taking away their supplies all over one thing. All you Holy Knights are nothing but hypocrites, and I guess kill it. All you Holy Knights are just nothing but hypocrites." As Tanjiro wouldn't, I feel like this was something that Tanjiro would still do in canon or in his own universe. But this Tanjiro is more, what's the word? Like, he's still nice. Like if he were to get mad at someone, he would not lash out at somebody else because he's still angry. He would pull out a whole 180, or is it he would pull out a whole 180. He could be burning with rage at someone, but as soon as he were to turn around, he would be acting like his normal self. So that's still the same, but he would still be he would get upset a lot more faster, but would still be would still be kind. But anyway, as this is happening, Elizabeth and Meliodas were sort of be shocked at Tanjiro's behavior, as Tanjiro would turn and walk over to the sword. And would walk over to the sword. After a little while, the people end up breaking the rope as they would all be pulling so hard, as Tanjiro ended up walking up to the sword and gripping it by its handle, and would be use his concentration breathing to pull hard and hard and hard as Tanjiro will pull on for at least, like, I would say around 30 minutes of constant, that's too much, at least a minute of constant pulling with total concentration breathing, as he will also even end up using what is it called? Kamikagura. Kamikagura is the strongest form of breathing, and it has so much strength behind it that it even hurts Tanjiro's lungs because of its strength, and how much, and the best way to put it, I would say it's almost like a boost in ability, similar to Piccolo's special beam cannon. So basically, as this would happen, Tanjiro, as flames would just be igniting around Gil Thunder's sword, as Tanjiro would end up pulling the blade out of the ground, falling back, as water would end up rushing back towards them. As to celebrate, everybody would go to the boar hat, and everyone would be thanking Tanjiro. Also, just because I would feel like some of the younger women in their village would be flocking to Tanjiro because of what he did, and Tanjiro would be blushing the whole night, not really knowing what to do. But to move on from that point, they would still end up going to, what is that forest called? I forgot. That little white forest where Deanne is. They would, of course, go there. I feel like some similar things would happen. I feel like some similar things would happen as Meliodas would still pull the big brain play that not even I as a child, not even I now only understood until recently. He took her panties and then told them all to jump, which she didn't do. Big brain play, honestly. Nobody else in shonen history could come up with a play like that. That's not following him. But anyway, the same thing would still end up happening, and they would still end up meeting with Deanne. Deanne would still try to hurt Meliodas because of what was happening. She would still end up grabbing Meliodas, not recognizing who he was. After that, she would end up hugging him. Then seeing Elizabeth, throwing him to the ground. Then after that, Tanjiro would be the one to quickly explain what was going on. As Deanne will also end up apologizing to Meliodas. After that point, everything would go the same, as Gil Thunder would still end up showing up. He would still show up. After this point, the same thing would basically end up happening, but this time, whatchamacallit, Hawk would end up getting electrocuted by Gil Thunder, and he also wouldn't end up running away with Elizabeth because they have an extra fighter there with Tanjiro, and Tanjiro pretty much made sure with his striking Tide and with the other move that also made him faster. There was basically no way that Gil Thunder's lightning would ever be able to touch them. So yeah, Tanjiro would also be putting pressure on Gil Thunder's projectiles. And also Meliodas wouldn't even get a chance to, like, I forgot what he got. Yeah, I know he got injured. He got either stabbed or sliced across the chest. Wouldn't happen either because Tanjiro would basically just be putting all the pressure on Gil Thunder. As I would say at this point, Gil Thunder and Tanjiro are pretty much equal. I would even say that Tanjiro is even slightly above Gil Thunder. So Meliodas and Deanne would basically just be watching Gil Thunder and Tanjiro just fight. As Tanjiro would quickly end up like ducking under one of Gil Thunder's swings, end up slashing upwards. Gil Thunder would of course end up jumping into the air, but so would Tanjiro. Tanjiro would end up jumping over Gil Thunder, as Tanjiro would be right over top of them. As Tanjiro would quickly sheath his blade, and then breathe quickly. Hino Kamikagura, clear blue skies. As Tanjiro went up pulling out his blade, spinning in a circle, creating a flame wheel that would end up hitting Gil Thunder in the chest, sending him to the ground. Tanjiro would also end up landing after this point, but Tanjiro would end up being tired from using so much Hino Kamikagura and from using water breathing so much. So Gil Thunder would sort of like move as fast as lightning and get up and prepare to swing at Tanjiro, also with a giant gash in his armor. Also, the whole thing with Meliodas being my bad, I keep doing this shit. But basically, with the whole gash being in Gil Thunder's armor, Deanne would end up grabbing Gil Thunder. He would still end up electrifying her. She would throw him away. Also, there's also a fact where Gil Thunder still threw like the spear at Meliodas. That would still happen. Tanjiro wouldn't really even affect that, so it still happens. But I'm pretty sure after this point, they would end up finding Bon at the prison. They were still also end up getting the same information from Gil Thunder, fighting Tanjiro or not. I feel like Meliodas would still make that prominent on asking Gil Thunder where they were. So they would know where King is, and they would know where Bon is. As that's where I'm gonna leave this part off. I hope you all like this part. I hope you all still want to see this series. And that's about all for today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Let me know if you want Gila to be the ship, or let me know if you want the ship to be something different, or if you truly do not care. But that'll be all for today. Hope you all have a nice day.